What's up, everybody? This is a tour that I've been waiting to do. Months, dude.
I've been waiting too, man.
Months! The reason I've been waiting so long is because this guy actually built this entire, well, 90% of it.
98%.
98% of it, he says, out of my driveway. I actually did not help him as much as I thought I was going to. He did it all himself. So it's a complete DIY van build tour. We're gonna get all into it. My buddy Christian, his second van that he has done. REI employee, put you on blast on that one. Avid hiker, climber, getting into a lot more. We're gonna get into all of that in this video because what a true gentleman and scholar, amateur DIY van builder. I love it, buddy. Let's get into all that. Whoa! What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Second tour with you. Pretty stoked.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Of course, thank you.
I will also say at the beginning of the video, if people are new to the channel, I usually try to share as many van tours, tiny home tours, overlanding rigs now, unique style living on my channel. Anything want to add to that, Christian? You know, you're around me probably more than anybody.
Yeah, you're just putting out content for the nomads out there, it seems like.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
This is an amazing vehicle. What?
Thank you.
We're gonna start right into it, bud.
All right, let's get it.
What vehicle are we in right now?
It is a 2000 Ford E350 Super Duty Extended with a fiberine high top.
Oh my, that was a mouthful.
Mouthful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna get to the high top, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the E350, what is your reasoning behind getting this van? This is not your typical ProMaster Transit, you know, Sprinter. What do we got here?
Yeah, well, my last tour that I did with you was also an Econoline. It was an E250. And the main reason I go with the Econolines is just mostly for budget. They're a lot more affordable and a lot more readily available from my experience than like finding a Transit or a ProMaster that was in my budget. And the reason I went with the 350, it's just going to have a higher towing capacity so you can put more weight in it. And then the Extended. So my last Econoline was not an Extended. And having that extra, it's like 1.5 feet of room, doesn't seem like a lot, but it made all the difference for me. After the first van I did, I wanted to get something a little bit bigger, so Extended for sure on this one.
Your last one was a low top.
Correct, yes.
And this one is you put the fiberglass top on top of it.
Yes, it's a 24-inch fiberglass top.
Fiberine is the company?
Fiberine's a company based out of Long Beach.
You were very transparent about sharing pricing.
Yeah.
So what did you pay for the van, and then what did you pay for maybe the fiberglass cutout and put on top?
Yeah,
whatever.
the van itself was from a dealership, so there was the dealership fees and stuff like that. So after all the dealership fees and whatnot, it came to right about $7,000 for the van, 69,000 miles on it, and only one previous owner.
Nice.
All services done, all service records provided, clean title, shell after installation, and the wood backing, because you can get it with or without plywood on the sides.
Yep. So
the plywood you'd use for, you know, mounting solar panels and roof racks, things like that. But with the wood and the installation, it was around $6,000. I might be wrong, I have to double check that. But it was around $6,000 for the shell with installation. It took them 4 hours, and it was already back on the road driving, which I thought was pretty impressive.
This is typically where the roof would be.
Yeah, that's the original roof line right there.
And you just cut right into it.
Yep.
Or they did.
Yeah, I think they used like metal shears or something, and they took it off, had a crane lower on the new one, and bolted it on. Like I said, 4 hours, it was in and out. Van and the shell was right around like 14, I want to say, for the van and the shell, which from what I've seen is still cheaper than, you know, finding a Transit or a ProMaster with 69,000 miles on it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. What do you got on that roof?
As of now, I have 250 watt new power panels, so 300 watts of solar, corrugated aluminum, T-slot aluminum, 80/20 is what you call it, right?
Yeah.
Little roof rack that will soon be a rooftop deck. Just haven't gotten to that yet.
Are you doing a like a telescoping ladder, or are you gonna put a ladder off the side?
Probably gonna be going with a Sportsmobile side ladder, but since I already have the rear tire on the back, I wanted to do the side ladder this time just to kind of spread out the exterior accessories.
Luckily, you did this all before the price of wood skyrocketed.
Most of it.
Most of it. What's your whole thing behind here with this cedar paneling and then, you know, the I like it.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, you know, are you trying to keep bugs away? What are you doing here?
It's definitely like that kind of log cabin type feel. Buddy Dave helped me with the ceiling and the cedar that we use for the doors. but it was actually cedar picket fence, so it was really cheap. I think it was like $2 something a piece.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah, so we used cedar picket because it was a lot cheaper, but then we had to go through and plane it, sand it, run it through the table saw to square it. So a little bit more work, but saved me a lot of money as opposed with going with a tongue and groove or shiplap or something like that.
Part of that 5% that you did not do in my driveway.
Yeah, it was at Dave's shop.
Was at Dave's shop, and
yeah.
it's actually, you can't notice it here, but one of the upper cabinets was built by Dave.
If you were in person, you could probably tell. Yeah, one of these upper cabinets is a little more
square
than the other. Yes.
Thank you, Dave, for helping with that.
Definitely.
So your layout, buddy, the dinette style.
Extremely, probably I'd say the most popular layout for a van. Would you agree?
I would say it's the most popular, although it's also me personally speaking,
Yes.
my least favorite.
There we go. I've only had 2 vans, my second van. Last one I had the fixed bed, and so far I've had this van finished for probably just a couple weeks now. I've definitely enjoyed having the dinette style a lot more than the fixed bed personally. I like being able to host people in the van, and I like having that van that people want to come and hang out in, and I like being able to have that space for people to sit down.
Okay.
Which the last van did not have.
What are the dimensions of the 2 benches and then when the bed when it's down?
Yeah, so the benches are 73 long. I think it's 24 deep, and after you have the 4-inch cushions, it's about 20 deep with the cushions on. Once it is in bed form, still 73 long, and the width I'm not 100% sure on, but it's about the same size as a queen size bed. So
do you mind maybe sitting down and we can kind of get a reference, a frame of reference of sitting down, and I'm gonna come sit across from you.
Take a seat.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, we are in the woods. Look at that. Pretty.
Beautiful.
People were probably wondering while we were standing, does your head hit that back there?
Mine doesn't, but probably anyone taller than me definitely would. This van's definitely like built around my needs and stuff, so I have like just enough clearance standing up, just enough clearance sitting down at the benches.
You're an average height for a human. You're 5'10".
Yeah.
So it's fine. You went with the butcher block countertop here.
True. Hardwood reflections at Home Depot, so instead of going to a lumber yard, I just opted to just go to Home Depot, and they had unfinished butcher blocks, so it was already sanded, just needed to be, I teak oiled it and then polyed it, so.
Very nice.
And that was just one 10-foot piece that I used for the table, countertops, and the leaves that go on the end here when it's in bed form.
We're going to stand up again.
All right.
One of your reasons, I think, of doing this layout is so you could go access to the back. Was that right?
Yeah, I like being able to walk from the front to the back, and granted, it's a little difficult with a table like this. I know I've seen some people like Dave who've had it on like sliders and stuff, so you can kind of slide the table out of the way.
It's a lot more work.
Yeah, and I'm okay with, I can squeeze past this no problem, so I do like being able to walk from the front to the back, and I like I said, just having the space to seat. I can sit 6 people in here, 7 with the swivel seat, so it's just nice being able to have people being able to hang out in here.
Telescoping leg portion of it. Do you know what it is, what you paid for? Because those are really expensive.
Yeah, I think they're usually around like high $300s, $400 range, and I got it. It was on sale a little under $200. I think it was like $180 or something.
Nice.
And the company I got it from, because I do have a lot of people that ask, I can't remember what the name is. It is Cascade Outdoors Depot. That's where I got the telescoping table.
It's funny because they sent you that koozie, yeah.
Yes, and then, that's the only reason I remember who it is. But yeah, a lot of people have asked me, and I always forget, but it's a Cascade Outdoor Depot.
All right, so now can you put down that table, because everybody's probably curious about how you operate it.
Yeah, so it's just 2 little clips on the telescoping table portion, and then this just pushes down. And then you can lock them back up. Boom.
Now, I know, and then it's already down, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, and then I have the 2 leaves that, I store behind here.
Okay. You can do one.
Okay. Yeah, so the leaves just fill in the space in between, and this was just leftover butcher block from the counters.
What do you think, realistically, what do you think your time is of putting bed up and down, time-wise?
I would say I can put it down in, less than a minute, easy.
Okay.
Yeah. And same thing, putting
it back up, yeah.
It takes longer to put up just because I have to fold my blankets back up and stuff. But as far as like actually putting it down, I know some people who have this style bed will actually like make the bed every night with like a bed cover and then sheet and all that. I just throw a bunch of blankets.
Top sheet, man. There is no top sheet in van life. No. Come on, people.
Blankets. Just a bunch of blankets.
Blankets.
Pillows,
yeah.
Cozy.
The guys, I know Christian, like I said, you guys may think that he cleaned up for me. No. He did not clean up for me. This is how he has his van every single day.
If you don't believe me, check the last tour. Very meticulous, very OCD, which is another reason why I think I don't mind the dinette style bed. because you know, making the bed for me is something I've done since I was a little kid.
Kind of separated the spaces really well, by the way. So the bed and, you know, living areas back here. We're going to get into the kitchen. Maybe I don't even know what you call dinette area. Well, we're going to get into that area right now. Do you mind putting that back and I'll switch spaces with you?
Sounds good.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
Your inspiration for your van build was what?
Van life sagas is like one of the first people I saw with the dinette style. Like we talked about, it's extremely popular. That just happened to be the first one I saw that made me really want to do that dinette style. I think a lot of the wood that you see is definitely inspired by our friend Dave, great woodworker. So his last van had definitely a lot of wood in it, and I like that kind of cabin vibe.
And what about like the theme? What would you say your theme is?
Climbing theme. Yeah, we talked about that. Same thing with my last van. I had the climbing holds, if anyone's seen my first tour, so I brought that back in this van.
Yeah, that's like a legit, like a climbing hold.
Yeah. And as Jarrod said, you know, I definitely enjoy climbing and photographing climbing, so I like kind of bringing in some like climbing themed stuff in here. So I have the holds for my handles, and I have a climbing rope and anchors that I use to hold my paper towel roll. And
that's a climbing anchor right there?
Yeah, so that's what you'd find at the top of a route. That would be bolted into the wall.
Obviously, I'm not a climber. I don't know these things.
All good, yeah. So those are the anchors you'd find at the top of a route that
you'd
anchor in. If these were installed properly, they can hold, you know,
a lot of weight.
Yeah, a lot of weight. Let's put that way. And then over here, yeah, I have an anchor board. So this is what you would use to practice building anchors, or what I use to practice building anchors. So, you know, when you get to the top of a route, you got to anchor up, and this is just a way for me to practice building different kinds of anchors for different situations. And to the left of that, got a hang board to build up that finger strength. So this is just this is something you can actually hang on to. It's bolted through.
Yeah, that's not just for looks.
Yeah, it's
right.
through the cedar, through a 1/2-inch piece of ply, and then into the 1/2-inch wood that's actually fiberglassed inside the shell. So
have you hung on it?
Yeah, it's definitely like, it can definitely hold some weight. It's sturdy.
There it is.
So
I actually said at the beginning of the video that you're an REI employee, but really your passion, what you love to do more than anything, is this climbing as well as photography.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just photographing people doing what they're passionate about, and I like being outdoors, so I definitely prefer to photograph people who are climbers, trail runners, hikers, backpackers, fly fishing, you know, anything outdoors. I like just capturing people that are in their happy place, in their zen mode.
Can I put you on blast a little bit?
100%.
You are planning to do what in the year of 2021?
2021, I'm going to be doing a lot of mountain certification, so kind of guide certification, a lot of EMT certification stuff, because I am looking into becoming a mountain guide or a backpacking guide or some sort of guide.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, definitely just, I mean, photography is 100% my passion, but I just love being outdoors, and I like inspiring people to get outdoors, so I thought being a guide just kind of aligned with what I'm interested in. So being able to get people outdoors and, you know, get people to fall in love with the outdoors. The
day that you told me, it was a couple months ago, about you doing the mountain guide stuff, I got so excited. You built this spice rack.
Yeah,
you love it.
It's a real quick last minute thing. I bought one, as you know, from Amazon, but it was not the dimensions I needed, so just threw one together, painted it white, and then put the anchors in the bottom.
I mean, honestly, it fits your van. You may think it's jankily built, but it's not, man. You did a good job.
I appreciate that.
You did a good, for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, you did a good job.
I'm sure it looks really good on video. If you were here in person, you can definitely catch a little bit more on this. Your
build is very simple. How did you do your water setup, and how did you do all these cabinets, and really what was your deal with this?
Yeah, so the cabinets, kitchen galley, upper cabinets, it was all just carcasses, so no frame with them all. It's just going to be a lot of pocket screws. And
would you use 3/4 ply?
3/4 ply, yeah, 3/4 sandy for mostly everything. And we got a SureFlow water pump. Don't know the model off the top of my head, but it's the newer version of the one I had in my last van. It's a lot quieter than my old one was, and a little bit better water pressure. Zune sink, which actually you sent me a link for, because I was struggling to find a sink that was the dimensions I want, but
I believe it's a granite composite.
Yeah, it's a granite composite, and I definitely wanted something that was black. I kind of tried to go with mostly black appliances and accessories and stuff. Some random Amazon faucet, SureFlow water pump, and just a little on-off switch on the side here.
Nice.
For when I'm not using it, but water works.
And then your gray?
Yeah, so I have 7 gallons fresh and just 4 gallons gray, and those are both in here.
They're
you
down
can
in
catch
there.
them.
Yeah.
So it'll be the 7-gallon fresh, and behind there's the 4-gallon gray. Pretty basic water setup. I don't have any hot water or anything, so it's pretty easy as far as plumbing goes in this build.
We didn't even mention, you live full-time out of this thing.
I do, yes, live full time.
And so not only do you live full-time, you were building this, you were living in this while you were building it.
Correct, yeah. I think I bought the van almost a year ago now, which is kind of sad that it took me that long to finish it. But yeah, I was living in this thing for, I guess, like 8 or 9 months before it was even close to being built. And then within the past month or two, after you were nice enough let me use your shop, it really started to pick up. And it wasn't until, like 2 months ago that this thing started to actually look like a van on the inside.
Honestly, you built this really fast. I mean, you did it at the same time I was doing my Jeep, and you kind of put it together as quicker than I thought you were going to.
Yeah, I think the motivation was living in it. You know, when you live in an unfinished van, there's nothing you want more than to finish that van.
Toilet. I actually didn't even realize this. Everybody's gonna be like, you live full-time in this with no toilet? How do you do this?
I have a Go Anywhere toilet. It's coming in the mail right now, actually. So for the past 8 months I was in here, there was no toilet, but there is a Go Anywhere toilet coming. So it's not a compost or anything crazy like that. It's just more so for emergencies. Where we are parked at currently is usually where I spend the night, and in about 50 yards down the road there's actually a trailhead restroom. So same thing as my last build. You know, when you're out and about on a daily basis, you kind of just think more about whether or not you need to use the restroom or not. I mean, it doesn't take long living in a van for you to kind of just have that thought process throughout the day. Of using the restroom whenever the opportunity presents itself, because yeah, there's no toilet in here as of now.
Sometimes you just dig a hole.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks the poop shovel also touches the poop. It never touches poop.
Should definitely not be.
It should never touch poop.
If your shovel is touching the poop, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
What's underneath this huge counter? Because this is like your pride and joy of your whole van. When we go to the back, we'll show the other pride and joy of your van.
Okay.
Power.
Oh, yeah.
Thing, you just picked this up. What do we got here? Show me.
It's a Dometic CFX 35. Just have a little quick spin lock there. But yeah, Dometic CFX 35.
This thing's a beast.
I know, I love it. The last one I had in my van was a CFX 28, I think. So this is the newer and larger version. So with the new ones, you have like a Bluetooth connectivity, so you can connect it to your phone, change temp from your phone, turn it on and off from your phone, things like that. And it's just a chess style fridge. So top.
You want to open your eyes?
Yeah, feel free.
You know, we can check out your goodies.
Oh yeah, some eggs and oat milk.
Was that the most expensive, or was the Goal Zero the most expensive?
Goal Zero I think was a little bit more than this was, but as you mentioned, work at REI, so it was definitely nice having those employee discounts.
Yeah.
For things like Goal Zero, Dometic, I mean, a bunch of the little things in here, like climbing accessories and carabiners and all that stuff is nice, being able to have the discount for that. Also under here is just a little cabinet that'll have my stove. So I'm just doing a 2-burner Coleman propane stove. And only other thing I have in there is my cutting board. So
I think people don't realize how simply you live, Christian. Like, you live pretty darn simply.
yeah, you don't need much to be happy, man.
You don't need much to be happy.
Yeah, just a Coleman 2-burner. The Triton doesn't have an ignition. It does not have an ignition switch, but I always have a lighter on me, so it's not a problem. Yeah, this is a swivel seat. It's a Sportsmobile swivel seat, so it's the same one I had in my last van, actually. It's a little tricky to spin. You kind of got to finagle it forwards and backwards, but...
Now, did that come in the van, or did you put that in after the fact?
Put that in after the fact, and I always tell people I think that's like one of the easiest modifications you can do to a van, at least.
I think it's one of the best.
Yeah, and at least with the Econolines, I know one of my friends has the Chevy, and his was a little more difficult, but with the Econolines, at least with this year and model, just 4 bolts, super simple, and definitely opens it up a lot, and that's where I can get that 7th person in here, so 6 on the benches and 1 here. Can have a little party. Just
go over the upper thing here. Yeah. Like, I think this was really interesting that you kind of capped all this off.
Yeah, so with the upper partition is a little difficult because the shell, like I said, has wood around the whole inside, fiberglassed into it, but they don't do wood on the front or the back. So I couldn't really screw any wood into the front here.
I know you're not too happy about this look, but
when it's closed, it looks good. Yeah. But Katie from So We Bought a Van, she actually is the one who kind of got me this idea because she did a similar like little curtain for her front partition. But up here is a bunch of stuff. Full laundry bag. Definitely gotta do laundry today. My camera bag.
Where are you doing laundry?
Your house.
Where do you normally do laundry?
Well, your house or
other
the
than
laundromat.
Laundromat, thank you. I just want people to realize it's not that hard
to
live simply.
It's really not. I mean, showers at Planet Fitness, it's $10 a month. You know, laundry's 25 cents for a load or something.
Right.
Super cheap.
Sorry, camera bag. Go ahead.
Yeah. 2 skateboards, camera bag, my pillows for when I'm sleeping at night. I have my drinking water. So this is a 3-gallon just little water tank. That's just my drinking water there.
I'm so glad that you also mentioned your drinking water, because you don't, and I went through this on my Jeep, you don't drink out of your faucet water.
Yeah, no, and I could. I mean, that 7-gallon water I usually fill up from friends' hoses or sinks or something like that. It's usually just tap water. But if I wanted to, I could fill up that 7-gallon at a geyser station, and I could use that as drinking water as well. But typically, I just fill up the 3-gallon guy here for drinking water.
Where do you fill that up? Like at a geyser?
Geyser station, yeah. So at any grocery store, basically, geyser station, and once again, super inexpensive.
I think you can even slide credit cards with those things now.
You can.
They're great. All right, I want to get to the power. This is pretty much the last thing we're going to get to is power and heat, because again, you live pretty simply.
Yeah. Easiest way to do this is usually I will open it up like so. And then I spin the table, and that actually holds up the door for me.
Okay. I
can go around the back and open the doors.
That would be great, buddy.
Get some more light.
Yeah, get some beautiful lighting in here. You have an interesting power setup, which I think a lot of van lifers are going to start leaning towards.
Yeah, and they're definitely getting more and more popular. There's a lot more companies doing these like big power banks now, and not only more companies, but these companies are making bigger and bigger and bigger units every year.
You got the Gold Zeros, you got the Blue Eddies. I mean, even Jackery now is coming out with a big one.
There's a lot of them now, actually.
So what do you got?
This is the Gold Zero 1500X, so the X is their new model. Not a whole lot, or I don't know, at least don't know off the top of my head what they changed between the last model and this one, but with the 1500, it's supposed to be a 150 amp hour battery in there. My last van also had a Gold Zero. I had the 1000, so it's a little bit bigger than my last one.
I mean, I did a tour recently with a woman that had a 3000.
Yeah.
But they can power a whole van.
Yeah, whole van. I mean, with all the things I have in here, we're still, what are we at right now? We're at 100% right now.
Yeah, well, we're in the sun. You've got 300 watts of solar on the roof. That'll work.
Definitely, yeah. So a little bit more solar than my last van too. A little bit bigger battery. It's a lithium battery as well, so you're able to, run it all down to 0 without having any issues.
How did you wire it up? Because I think that might be the biggest issue for everybody.
Yeah, wire management's not the prettiest, but with my last van, the Gold Zeros, Yetis, or Blue Eddies, Jackeries, they all have ports on them. But in order to use less ports, I ended up going with a fuse box this time around. So that's the Blue Sea, I think.
Blue Sea, yep.
Yeah, the Blue Sea fuse box. So all my 12-volt stuff, my fan, my LED lights, my fridge, water pump, that's everything. But that's all going to the fuse box there, which then just goes into an Anderson port. So because I ended up wiring it this way, I was able to open up all these ports if I needed to charge something else. I still have my 2 or 3 USBs here, save a lot of the ports by going with the fuse box, and I just feel like it's a little more protected. Even though these Gold Zeros have built-in circuit breakers and stuff in them, having the fuse box is just like another level of protection, keeping the batteries safe since it was expensive. And I still have 2 ports open on my fuse box. So I have one that's set aside for a heater, which I may or may not be installing, and then one just completely extra spot on the fuse box where I could hook up anything else I wanted to.
So when you put your heater in, first of all, you have, what heater do you have?
I have a Chinese diesel heater, gift from Dave, shout out Dave, and I've yet to install it just because of space. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. We'll probably end up going here, drilling a hole through the bottom of the van to exhaust it out of. Not the most reliable from what I've heard, but I mean, you can buy 6 of them for the price of, any of the US diesel heaters.
Easy now, I got the expensive one.
Yeah. And then you could buy 6 of them. You could buy 6 Chinese diesel heaters for the price of Jarrod. So if it is to break,
you could actually buy, how much do they cost? Well, like 100
each.
100 each?
Yeah.
For my Jeep heater, you could buy 12 of them.
So there you go.
Just saying.
If it is to break, while you may not have like a great customer service to help fix it, you just buy another one and swap it out. But yeah, the Chinese diesel heaters are a great option. Mr. Buddies as well, I think are a decent option.
That's what you had in your last one, right?
I didn't have any heater in my last
one.
one.
You did? Well, you were in SoCal the whole time.
Yeah, the Mr. Buddies, obviously, as most people know, you just gotta be careful as far as run. You can't run those all night type thing because of the fumes. That's the good thing about the diesel exhausting out of the vans. You can run them all night. They're super efficient. I lived in this thing all winter with no heater, just a 0-degree sleeping bag.
Well, Christian, man, you are next level amazingness.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
How can we find you, bud?
Mainly on Instagram, at Henkel.photography, HENKEL photography. I'm on TikTok sometimes, have a YouTube, don't really post it that much. Mainly just Instagram's the main way you'd find me and follow along on my travels. The majority of this build is going to be on my Instagram. There's a highlight reel called Van Build 2.0. So if you want to see all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this thing, you can check it out on my Instagram.
You didn't cry once.
Not that you saw.
Not that I saw. Oh my goodness, now I feel terrible because you did most of it out of my house.
Joy.
Oh, tears of joy. All right, fair enough. All right, Christian, do you want to end with anything on really tips for anybody? Or actually, I will ask you, this was a complete DIY. You didn't outsource a damn thing.
I outsourced one thing. My roof rack, I had a shop cut the metal for me because this was prior to me being at your shop. I had nowhere to cut my aluminum.
Okay.
So I spent $12 and a nice welding shop down the street was nice enough to cut my roof rack measurements for me. But yeah, aside from that, nothing was outsourced. I mean, the shell obviously done by Fiberine.
What's interesting is how you did your
Cushions.
Your cushions.
Yeah. So yeah, as opposed to getting them custom upholstered, you can kind of see that there are a bunch of staples here. So it's 2 inches of high density foam, 2 inches of gel memory foam stacked on top of each other, really thin 1/4 inch piece of plywood underneath, and then you just pull the fabric around and staple it in. Just like a really cheap and easy way to upholster your cushions.
The van empty with the fiberglass on top, roughly 14. What do you think your build was?
The build, I'm thinking was around...
Without discounts.
Yeah, without discounts?
Without discounts.
Ooh, without discounts, probably closer to like 25. Yeah, I'd say 25 is pretty...
All in 25?
Yeah,
okay,
all in
so
van and
10-ish.
everything.
So 10, 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah.
Like I said, the only discounts you got were the art, not from me. I didn't give you anything.
No.
The only discounts really were the battery in the fridge.
Yeah, battery, fridge, little things here and there. Scrap bin at Home Depot. Always check out the scrap bin because there's some good stuff in there sometimes.
Yeah. Find them again at henkel.photography.
Correct.
Before everybody says goodbye to you, Christian,
Yeah.
is this it for you? Are you done building vans? Are you going to do another one for yourself? Are you going to sell this one? What are you thinking?
I mean,
we can never predict the future, but
I told myself after my first build that I would never build another van again, and
Yeah,
here we are with
same
Van 2.0. We'll most likely be building another van in the future, sometime before 2022 starts. So I'll probably be throwing this guy up for sale towards the end of 2021.
I think that'll it. I think we're done. I'm done with you, dude.
All right.
I'm so sick of you.
Later.